So it's that time of year again, where every Thuzy on Earth blabs about their top 25. Well, I'm going to be doing that too, because I do it every year, and I like putting my opinions out there. And this year, it was a pretty good year for me. I was able to add 40 new coasters to my list, which brought my total count to 212 coasters. Most of them were great rides, and because of this, my list was drastically changed from last year. I also got back on some of my favorites, so I got to rethink a lot of my rankings. However, first I want to give some honorable mentions. These are all amazing rides that just missed the top 25 out of 212, so I definitely wanted to feature them. So starting at the top 25 is Gale Force at Planet's Castaway Cove in Ocean City, New Jersey. Gale Force is a fantastic launch coaster filled with amazing airtime and laterals. All of the valleys are filled with great positives too. The ride features one of my favorite drops of all time, and now it even gives a longer ride with its double cycle introduced in 2020. Overall, I think this is one of the most intense coasters built, definitely in New Jersey and possibly even the country. Number 24 is a longtime favorite of mine, NITRO at Six Flags Great Adventure. NITRO is one of the older B&M hypers, but it still packs a punch to this day. It has a ton of floater airtime and an amazing helix filled with positives. Many people like to trash this ride, but ever since I've ridden it, it's stayed in my top 25 consistently. The ride has a fantastic setting in the woods and is overall super long. It's a great coaster, and it gets way too much hate in my opinion. Number 23, Steel Force at Dorney Park. This Morgan hypercoaster is also one that gets a lot of hate. I also used to hate on this ride too, however in 2015 I got a super slow ride that was also trimmed to death, so it was warranted. However, in 2020 and in 2021 I got some amazing airtime filled rides on it. The ride has a great drop and a fun helix with a low to the ground part that focuses on speed and has a bit of laterals. The finale is what makes this ride great though. It's just airtime hill after airtime hill after airtime hill, and I feel like each one gets stronger as it goes on. Number 22 is Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. I'm really happy that there were 2 possible Chance GTXs announced in 2021, because there should really be way more of these rides out there. Lightning Run is super smooth, intense, and features some fantastic airtime moments. Honestly, this coaster would be higher if it weren't for the restraints. Both times I rode, they sort of dug into my stomach, and the shin guards really dug into my legs, which got uncomfortable with the insane ejecta this ride has. Just a small negative for how great this ride is. Number 21, Stormrunner Hersheypark. Stormrunner is a fantastic intimate hydraulic launch coaster that features a powerful launch, great airtime, and super fun inversions. The valley in between the elements are super tight, providing some intense positive G-forces. It may be short, but it packs a punch in that time for sure. Number 20, Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. This was the original hypercoaster built by Arrow back in 1989, and it's definitely an acquired taste. If you don't like Arrow jank, then this ride is not for you. The ride features some amazing airtime moments, like the giant speed hill before the turnaround, and of course the Triangle Hill finale. In my opinion, this is one of Cedar Point's best coasters, and I hope they keep it around for a nice long time. Number 19, Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England. This intimate hyper is long and has a fantastic layout. The ride features some great airtime moments, like the Shield Hill, and a super fun twister section, and of course, a great location on the Connecticut River. The restraints do bring this down a little bit, since they are giant blocks that sit right on your thighs and get uncomfortable after a few rides, but overall, Superman is an amazing ride, and it's definitely one of Intamin's finest creations. Number 18, Diamondback at Kings Island. Diamondback is a fantastic B&M hypercoaster, featuring endless floater airtime hills and a super long ride. The airtime is super sustained on every hill, and you'll be flying out of your seat for several seconds each. This ride is almost more like a stronger version of Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure, with its long ride, similar layout, and location in the woods. Also, one of my favorite things about this ride is the nice splashdown at the end. It's a cool visual both on and off ride, and if you sit in the very back two seats, you could possibly even get wet if you reach your arm out at a certain angle. Next 5 coasters are all wooden coasters. Number 17 is one of CCI's best creations, Boulderdash at Lake Compounce. Boulderdash has one of the best settings for any coaster, and in fact, I think it has the best setting of any coaster. It's built right into a heavily wooded mountain, and the ride really feels like it's going to rip off the tracks at every single moment. It has insane pacing, airtime, laterals, and perfect amount of roughness. And yes, I did say the perfect amount of roughness. My opinion, a little roughness is what makes a wooden coaster good, to be honest, and it really makes this ride feel way more out of control than it actually is. If it was perfectly smooth or a steel coaster, I honestly think it wouldn't be as good as it is now. Number 16, Thunderhead at Dollywood. Thunderhead is a beautiful, twisted wood mess from GCI. The ride features great pacing, tons of airtime, and laterals. The layout is super unpredictable since it's so twisted within itself, and the ride is put within a valley and on some mountains along with some trees near it, so it does have a very good location, and it makes it just that much better. Number 15, Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. Timbers absolutely rips through its course, providing a ton of airtime and lateral moments. The ride is over fairly quick, but once you hit the brakes, you get to experience the shed. Now, most people don't like the shed, but I thought it was really cool. Most of the time, my group would always mess around in there and get the whole train to sing along or clap to the music, which made things a lot more fun in there. However, the ride experience is definitely something to talk about. Every hill gets great floater airtime, and the ride also has very strong laterals. The drop is also super fun and is better than most GCIs in my opinion, has some great floater airtime and some really strong laterals at the bottom. Overall, this is one of Kings Island's and GCI's best coasters. Number 14, Phoenix at Knoebels. This PTC wooden coaster feels almost illegal at times. The way the hills are shaped, you get some great floater airtime to start, and then some of the hills you just get thrown into your restraint, which is of course a buzz bar. The buzz bars is also one of the reasons that this ride is so great, because you get tons of airtime room, and it almost feels like you're going to fly out at times. Obviously you do not, because the ride is very safe, and the buzz bars are designed to give you that sense of freedom, or a sense of airtime I should say, but it will keep you in your seat. Knoebels does a fantastic job maintaining this coaster. For the most part, it feels like a brand new wooden coaster in terms of smoothness, but still has that classic feel to it. Number 13, arguably one of the most intense wooden coasters ever built, the Raven at Holiday World. Raven is another creation from CCI, which starts out like a great out and back wooden coaster, has fun airtime and some good laterals. Then it rises above the trees and takes a crazy ejector airtime filled dive into the low to the ground, lateral filled finale. The finale feels like the train will just rip off the tracks, and being deep in the woods, it just elevates the feeling. A night ride on this thing is 100% necessary, because you literally cannot see a thing. Number 12, Orion at Kings Island. This is the only B&M Giga Coaster that I've ridden, and that's a very unfortunate thing. This ride is damn good. The ride has some amazing floater airtime throughout, and has one of the best drops in the world. You get endless photo airtime and it feels like you're falling forever. The ride is long, tall, fast, and even has some intense moments of positive G-force and airtime. Number 11. Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. Most people trash talk this ride for being the worst RMC and how it sucks. Personally, I think this ride has a ton to offer. The ride features one of the world's best drops, 3 hang time filled inversions, great ejector airtime, and some amazing visuals. The ride is put near the lakes and woods of the area, so the view is just beautiful from the top. The ride also features some great head choppers throughout the ride, which really makes the ride experience more fun. I love trying to reach out for the track and supports, really feel like you're going to get hit by them. Obviously you're not going to, but it just really elevates the insanity of this ride. I do have a full review of this ride, so if you want to see all my thoughts on it, I'll link it down below in the description. Number 10. Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. Wicked Cyclone was my first RMC, and I still really enjoy it to this day. The ride is long, intense, and aggressive. If you catch this thing on a hot day with a full train, it's top 5 worthy in my opinion. All the airtime is violent and the pacing is insane. However, most of my rides are not as described. However, when it is running a little slower, you still get the crazy airtime, but you also get a ton of hang time on the inversions. This is one of Alan Schilke's first lateral focus coasters. The ride features some powerful laterals that really pin you to the side of the train, and overall I think this ride is very well rounded. Number 9. Maverick at Cedar Point. Maverick is simply put one of Intamin's best creations. There's not much to ask for that this ride doesn't give. It has a great drop, intensity, laterals, whip, airtime, a great launch, inversions, and great scenery. Maverick truly has it all, and it's one of the most intense coasters out there too, at one of the best parks in the world. Number 8. Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom. To be honest, I think this is the most aggressive coaster ever built. The airtime feels borderline too intense at times, and the ride just throws you in every direction it can. The finale is one of my most favorites on any coaster. The trick track double up into the double down is pure insanity, and it really feels like the train is just trying to rip your legs off. Number 7. SKYRUSH at Hersheypark. In my opinion, SKYRUSH is the most intense coaster ever built. It takes every force to the extreme. Airtime, absolutely terrifying. Positives, bone crushing. Laterals, back-breaking. I also love the trains. They are the most open-feeling trains ever. The ride kicks off with a crazy fast lift hill and a mental drop, with a kink halfway down that just throws you out of your seat even more, and the ride just continues to blow your mind with all of its crazy airtime and great positive G-forces and even some great laterals that'll throw you out of the side of the train. It's not for everyone, and I know a lot of people don't like this ride, but I really like it. It's even been at my number 1, 2, and 3 spots at some point. However, in the past few years, it has dropped due to better rides being ahead of it. Number 6. Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. This is basically the bigger version of SKYRUSH, but focuses a little bit more on positives and less on airtime. However, the ride still has a good amount of airtime, and it's pretty good too, like the big floater hill, the speed hill, the twists, and the hills at the end. The best part of the ride, in my opinion, are the violent twists and the low to the ground sections. It's just pure insanity. Number 5. The Voyage at Holiday World. Voyage is a masterpiece. Super long, so much airtime, and even some laterals too. The setting is stellar, being deep in the woods and shooting up and down the hill is one of the best experiences on any coaster. The ride even gets better at night, and if you go during Hollywood nights and get a trimless ride, it is truly something else, and feels absolutely out of control, and like you're riding something that's living. Number 4. El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. I can confidently say El Toro is the world's best wooden coaster. The ride has an amazing drop, sustained ejector airtime, and a twister section that makes it amazing already. However, after riding it so many times, I noticed all the little lateral moments and floater air it has too. It's also one of my favorite coasters to operate, but that's just a little side note. Number 3. Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. After my 2021 re-rides, I honestly get the hype of this coaster. This thing is non-stop with its airtime, and it just keeps on going. Now, while I don't think it's my favorite coaster, I can see why it's the best coaster to many. The top hat and outer bank are some of the best airtime moments ever. The ride features so much more too, like great inversions and even a little bit of laterals. not as much as other RMCs though. Number 2, Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. This is essentially Steel Vengeance and Storm Chaser combined. I only slightly prefer Twisted over Steel Vengeance because it has more aggressive airtime, a little bit better hang time, and a bit more of laterals. It's a very close race though, however I do give the edge to Timbers for what I mentioned before. And coming in at number 1, Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This ride is my ideal ride. Now, I haven't ridden it since I got the Steel Retrack, however, the Lightning Rod I rode is my number 1. An amazing launch, insane injector airtime, the perfect setting, and even that wood coaster feel. This ride at night is a true experience. You can barely see anything and you just get whipped around. And to top it all off, the quad down is my favorite element on any coaster ever. Thanks for watching everybody, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more content coming soon. Make sure you comment down below what your favorite coasters are, and I hope to see everybody in the next video.